Alright, today we're going to look at importing drivers. We're going to create driver packages for SCCM. You can find these deployment packages from all the major manufacturers, HP, Dell, IBM. In this case, I'm looking so I just Googled SCCM package, and you can find on the manufacturer site what you need. In this case, I'm going to try to create a driver package for a ThinkPad X1 Yoga. So I went to the manufacturer site. I'm downloading the drivers that we need. And it's real important that we create a source folder. So in this case, I'm on the SCCM server. There's a source share, images, drivers, and then driver source is my naming convention. So I create a subfolder with the make and model, ThinkPad X1 Yoga. And this is where I'm going to download the SCCM package from the manufacturer site, which contains all the drivers for all the hardware that's on this particular laptop. Alright, so that's done. And now we have this exe file. Sometimes it's a zip file, sometimes it's a cap file. In this case from Lenovo, it's a exe, so we're just going to run the self extractor here. And I'm going to browse out to that path. In this case, I'm running this straight from the SCCM server, so I'm just going to go to the local hard drive, and then source, images, driver source, and the new subfolder that I created. So we're going to let that extract. And you can see it's working on extracting all those drivers for all the hardware that's in that particular unit. Great. Now I'm going to do a little cleanup here. I always like to delete the file that we downloaded. There's no need for that anymore. And I like to move everything under the root of the subfolder that we created. Sometimes when you extract, it creates these extra folders that you really don't need. So here it gives me a bit of a headache trying to move these up. You can see that all the cap files and DLLs are actually in those subfolders, so that's a good sign. Go back to that path, not software. It's in images, drivers, driver source. Select all those, cut, move them up here, paste them, and say continue for all these. Great. Now we delete the empty folder. Make sure it's empty. Yep. Just delete that. Now we have a clean driver source folder. So we'll flip over to System Center. And you would think that you would want to go to Driver Package at this point and right-click and do a new package. The proper way to do it that I've seen documented is to right-click on Drivers and you select Import Driver. But before that, we have to create a pre-staging folder for your package. So this is a new System Center deployment. We have some cleanup to do, but in this case, I'm going to make a new folder for Lenovo. You can ignore that Lenovo driver. So that was from a test that we did. And I'm going to make a subfolder for the model. So it's an X1 Yoga. All right, so now we have our driver package folder ready to go on the server. And we will right-click on drivers and import driver. That launches the import driver wizard. So the first thing it's asking for is the source folder. That's where we just extracted all of our drivers to. And we're going to browse out to the UNC. Source, images, drivers, driver source. And there it is. And this is fine. We're going to import driver and append to new category. Some of these processes can take a few minutes to run while it's looking at all the drivers that are contained and what the architecture of those drivers are. Is it x86? Is it x64? Getting all the attributes of all the software and all the drivers that it has. So just let these things run and be patient. I will try to speed up the video during these periods where it takes a while. Okay, it's looked at all the drivers and it's come up with a list here of all the drivers that are going to be imported. In this case, I only need the 64-bit drivers, so I sort by architecture, and then if there were any x86, I would uncheck those. In this case, it's all 64-bit and x86. So I'm going to make a new category for this particular make and model. So Lenovo X1 Yoga. I try to keep the naming convention the same and as descriptive as possible. So we're making a new category for these drivers. Make sure you've got so we're going to make a new package here. Again, try to keep the naming convention the same. And this is where we're going to browse to that folder that we just created for the package. Again, you have to use the server name. You don't want to put in some kind of local drive or whatever. You always want to use the name of the server, browse out through the share, and so we're going to put this in driver packages. And there it is. And in this case, we're going to put this in our MDT boot image. And these warnings are okay. It's just saying that it's going to import everything. Are you sure we're going to do that? And this process can take some time. Just let it run. And it's done. You can see there was a warning there, but I can't find any problem with that warning. It's basically saying, like, hey, I found these warnings, but then there's no detail, and everything that is successful looks to be all of the drivers were successful. So I'm not sure why it's throwing that warning message there. And you can see now in our packages folder, System Center has created all of those subfolders. And the last step that you need to do is you have to distribute your new package to all of your distribution points. So you're going to right click, you're going to say distribute content. And in our case, we're going to just push it out to all of our distribution points, which is only 2. So just go ahead and let that run. And if you refresh, you'll see that in progress changes to 2, or however many you have in your environment. And we'll hit refresh a few more times, and it's going to flip over showing that 1 is done. That means it's working. There you go.